Hi, folks. It's that time of year with one of my favorite holidays, Thanksgiving. If you're tired of dry, baked, or smoked turkey, have I got a treat for you. This recipe is going to make you want to kick your dad and slap your mama. Grab a pad, grab a seat. Dad's going to show you how to make it. What Dad can do. So folks, let's run through some of the items that you'll need. It's not a lot, so it's going to be pretty easy. You'll need one of these Cajun type flavorings. You can use a Tony Roma. If you're trying to keep it low on salt like we are, you can go to the no salt, but whenever you're dealing with meats, it's best to have some degree of salt. It just wakes up the flavor in the meat. So either one of these would do. We're probably going to use the regular one. But in case you didn't know, they've got the options in the Slap Your Mama too for the folks who are trying to cut the salt back. You've got the low sodium here, and you've got the original blend. Now, no recipe would be complete without some of my sneaky Pete. Now, this is Texas Pete. I don't put very much in it. It's just a tad. Now, what you want to do is be careful with all of these ingredients I just showed you up front because they do add a bit of spice. So if you're cooking for the whole family, it's going to be kids eating it. You want to make sure that you don't make it too spicy. Now, what suspends it and kicks everything up from there is going to be the liquids. We'll need garlic juice, onion juice. Both. We're going to need a pretty large volume of both. I make my own because it's outrageously expensive to buy them in the store now. Plus, it's fresh, so I make it straight from the items I have. The last thing, folks, is you're going to need a white wine. Now, if you are a dry person like myself, meaning you don't consume alcohol, it's just fine, folks. All of the alcohol is going to cook right out of it, and you're going to get that flavor that we're looking for. Also, the alcohol tends to help tenderize the meat a little bit. It's going to be delicious. So let's get started with preparing our onion juice. Now, folks, for our recipe, we're going to need one large onion. All right, we want the juice out of that. So if you're fortunate enough to have a blender like what I've got, this Vitamix is absolutely amazing. We're going to purify it, or puree it, and we're going to put it in some cheesecloth and let it drain to get the juice out of it. We're going to squeeze it a little bit, but we're just going to milk the juice out of the onion. So I basically just take the tops off where it's coarse, because we're not eating the flesh of the onion. We're just after the juice. So I take that off so it won't be rough with the pureeing. And of course, I take the dry portion off because there's no juice in it. Now, I'm a picky cook, so any imperfections on the onion, I just slice it off. And then, folks, you don't have to do this if you have a powerful enough blender, but it makes it quicker if I go ahead and quarter this onion. Cut it into 4 separate pieces. I'm just going to toss them right in. Again, this Vitamix is amazing. There are many others on the market, but this is my preference. All right, we're going to turn it on. It's going to be a little loud here, so we're going to puree this on high. Take this top piece off, and we'll liquefy it as good as we can. Here we go. Okay, folks, that took no time at all. It's pretty quick. Again, with a powerful blender like the Vitamix here, makes it really easy. So now I use cheesecloth. I like a little cheesecloth to help me hold the flesh separate from the juice. Now, I'm going to get enough where I can double it over because I want to be able to put some pressure on it when I squeeze it. And if it's too thin, then it'll squeeze right through, and that'll be frustrating. So I'm going to cut this. So that I can double it over. All right, now notice how transparent that is. And when I double it over, it gives me just a little bit more resistance for the flesh of the onion not to be pressed through, and nails it down to the juice. Now folks, I'm going to put this inside of a little strainer. I'm going to dump it in nice and slow because I don't want it to overflow into my bowl that I'm going to collect the juice with. All right, so I'm going to also grab a spatula because even though it's liquefied pretty good, it may hang up a bit. Well, that smells pretty good. All right, so now I'm just going to dump it right on in. And I'll show you folks in just a second how it looks. Now folks, this is a couple days before I'm going to inject it. Now the reason I do this is because this is a little time consuming. This is not the kind of thing you want to do the day of or the morning of. If you want to prep your deep fried turkey days in advance. This is Monday, Thanksgiving is on this Thursday, and I'm making my juices now. All right, so folks, I'll bring you over here, take a look. Now, I'm just going to take this cheesecloth, I'm going to lift it, and I kind of pull it in a long stretch. You see that juice that's coming out of it now? Just that little bit of pressure from pulling the two ends together have got it starting to drain. So I roll it over a little bit like a tamale, I guess. And as I twist it, it puts more and more pressure on it. Now, once I've turned it like that and I've got the top closed, then I start putting a little pressure on it by putting it in the strainer. Note here. And put a little pressure on it. And note the water, the juice kind of running out of it. Now this does take quite a bit of time trying to keep the flesh from coming out, but it's worth it. Now what you can do, folks, if you have something else to do in the kitchen, you can leave that to drain for a while. So while that's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and clean out my Vitamix, because the exact same thing needs to be done with the garlic. Now folks, the amount of garlic that I need is pretty substantial, so a couple of cloves of garlic are not going to be good enough. I've tried quite a few different minced garlics, but a lot of them taste really bitter. What I found works best is this, actually the Great Value. This is not a bitter garlic like some of the others. So I use the minced garlic from Walmart. It's the Great Value, and it's in water, so there's no other additives in there that you have to worry about. So folks, this is my favorite minced garlic. Again, garlic, water. They've got citric acid, of course, to keep it from, I guess, turning colors and spoiling quickly or whatever, but that's the only other items in here. So I really like this minced garlic. We are going to fill our Vitamix a bit with it. I'm going to move this while it's draining. And we're going to put some of the garlic into the Vitamix next. All right, it's open. All right, a little too large. See if this will do the job. All right, so I'm going to drain some of that out as I shovel the garlic. I don't really want a ton of the water, but I am going to need quite a bit of garlic. Okay, so salt the tapper. And the cap. And now, I'm going to purify this garlic. It's going to be the same way. It's going to be a little loud here, but it won't take us very long. Okay, folks. Now that's liquefied pretty good. Now, you would figure with it being this loose that why would we need to separate that garlic anymore? Well, that's still too thick, and I'll show you why. So when we inject the turkey, if you buy the Tony Romas in the store, which you can use and use that in conjunction here because the item that I didn't mention yet is the butter. They have a buttery substance inside of it that you can use. Now the ones in the store will come with a little bottle, and you can buy those. They usually have an injector like this along with it. But folks, you see that little hole right there? That's where the recipe, the injection fluids are going to come out. It's fairly small, so you can't have chunks. Now, I've been deep frying turkeys for quite some time. I turned away from the baking, I don't know, a couple decades ago. And so I invested in the stainless steel injector that I'm about to show you now. Inside of here, I keep the needle during the time it's not being used. But you'll note, once I put this together, not only does it help when you're pulling and injecting a lot of it to have these little portions here and some place to put your thumb, or I use the peel of my hand. I don't know if you folks will be able to see all of those holes through that injection needle there. That's where all the fluid's coming out of. And if you've got chunks of things in there, you're going to have difficulty, and it's going to be hard to inject your turkey. So what we want to do is we want to make everything as fluid as we can. Now, folks, as I separate the juice from the onion and the garlic, I use my masonry jars for the juices as I work on them. So once I get all of the onion juice extracted from the onion, I'm going to put it inside of this jar. So if I have some left over, I can hold on to it. And I have one for the garlic as well. Now, both of these are going to have the garlic or the onion juice in it. But I want to talk to you about my way of cooking. If you folks have been following my channel, you'll know that I'm a really traditional cook. All of the best cooks I've ever met don't use measuring stools, measuring spoons, and measuring cups when they're cooking savory. But baking's a little different. It's more of a science, so you've got to have exact measurements for that. But when you're cooking from scratch, it's more about ratios of portions and seasoning to taste. So it depends on how large your turkey is, how much of the injection fluid that you need to make. I've got a 17-pounder this year. It's a little smaller than what I usually have, but it's only me and my wife for this Thanksgiving. So you'll need maybe roughly about a cup of the Chardonnay, maybe 3/4 of a cup, 3/4 of a cup of the onion, 3/4 of the cup of the garlic. The other seasonings, I choose these that are more of a powder because, again, when I'm injecting them, folks, it won't get hung up coming out of the needle. So when you have these fancy recipes with all of the chunked items, you're going to have trouble getting it into the turkey. Plus also, when you inject it into the turkey and it's more fluid, it'll run throughout the skin and the meat and stuff a whole lot better, and you'll get more flavor throughout the turkey. But it's best to make more than you need than to fall short, because you want that flavor everywhere. So let's take a look at the onion and see how it's coming along. Take you folks over here. So we've got quite a bit of juice already just from the onion sitting. So I'm going to work on this a little bit. We're going to swap over and do the garlic, and I'll be back. So folks, the draining's been going pretty good, but what I do at this point to kind of speed things up, you can see that quite a bit, but I go ahead and close my cheesecloth off the best I can, and I start massaging my little pack here. See that extra onion juice that's coming out of there? Now, if you put too much pressure, you're going to get some of the flesh that comes through, but a little bit will not kill us, folks. So you want to get all the juice out of it as you can. If you recall, we want more than we need than to fall short when we're injecting. So once we start getting to a juice-free pulp, or at least close to, we'll go ahead and stop. But as you can see, as I massage it around, there's still plenty of juice coming out of there. A little bit of the flesh starting to come because there's a lot of pressure that I'm putting on it now, and it's forcing the pulp through the cheesecloth. But that is what this is for. You note, folks, how it's catching the additional little flesh that's falling out of there. Now it's really starting to shoot. So I think we may have gotten all of the onion juice we can. Again, a little bit more coming. But we're shooting a lot of flesh now, so we're going to go ahead and call it good. Now, just to satisfy my curiosity, let's take a look and see how much juice we actually got out of that large onion. All right, this measuring cup is exactly 1 cup. Pull you down. This is exactly 1 cup. And I make my own jellies as well. So I have the full setup for my my masonry jars. So let's dump this in here and see if we've got a cup or 3/4. Oh yeah. Outstanding. We have more than a cup worth of onion juice out of that large onion. So folks, this is perfect. So that 1 large onion is going to do us just fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and transfer it over into the masonry jar. because I will not be putting this full thing together just yet. But to keep it fresh, I'm going to go ahead and put it into the masonry jar. And the masonry jar is going to be capped with one of the reused tops and put it into the refrigerator. Now I'm going to set up the cheesecloth and do the exact same thing with the garlic. Okay, exact same setup, exact same thing, except with garlic. Now the garlic is far more difficult than the onion because it tends to froth up quite a bit. You can probably tell as we're dumping it out here, it's a bit different from the onion. I think the onion is probably a little more fibrous or something. The reason that it holds together a little better to give us the juice out of it. But either way, we will prevail. Okay, so with the garlic out, I'm just going to go through the exact same process, folks, to get the juice out, and I'll be back and we can show you how much juice we got out of the garlic. Okay, folks, we fell just a little bit shy, so I blended up a little more garlic. Then I'm going through the exact same process. Again, getting it into a little ball. You see the juice is coming out of there. Now, folks, I do this manually because you get probably 4 or 5 times the amount of juice than you would from purchasing an individual bottle. Now, the inflation's been crazy, but I think last year when I looked, it was like $8 or $9 for a couple of ounces of onion juice, and it was $12 or $14 for a couple of ounces of garlic juice. When I think the entire onion that we purchased was $1.13, and the garlic I didn't use it all, but I think it's like $3 and something for the little container. My wife may know better, but and I get all of the juice that I need. A cup of each is what I'm going to end up getting out of what I'm prepping. A cup of juice each, and that would be, I don't know, to get a full cup out of the onion that you purchase would probably be 4 or 5 of those bottles. What's that? 40 bucks, 50 bucks, and then the garlic, oh, you just better forget it. So it's extremely expensive. Now, if you want the easy way out, folks, you can spend the money and buy it. But a little bit of time, and you've got it fresh, no additives, and far less expensive. All right, so I'm not going to bore you with watching this juice, but all I'm doing is massaging the little bag of pulp until I get all of the juice out of it. Now, this is what it looks like over here when I've gotten all of the juice out of it. Notice, folks, it's kind of just like a pulp or mash. So we'll be back. Okay, folks, I think we've got about all we're going to get out of this. Squeezed it all down. A few little dribbles left, but we're not going to cry over that spilled milk. So I'm going to call it quits there, and let's see if that took us to our cup of garlic juice. Indeed it did. All right, folks, so we've got plenty for our recipe. And again, I am going to put it into my masonry jar with my masonry jar funnel. Make sure we don't make a mess. And this is going to go into the refrigerator with the onion juice. It'll clear my space, plus keep it fresh. So just so you see the fruits of our labor thus far, we got our juices. About the same amount is going to be in the white wine. White wine. I'm not a drinker, so I don't really know what's good or bad. However, this is a Chardonnay, and it'll suit just fine. I've used that multiple times before. So the next thing we need, folks, is what I didn't talk about in the very beginning, is our butter. And we're going to use a whole cup of butter. Now we make our own butter, so it's delicious. This set that I'm going to use here is a salt-free butter, and I'm going to melt that down and make sure we got a cup of it, and we're going to put that into the mix. Now, again, this butter is so creamy and delicious. If you make your own butter, or check it out on my channel, folks, I'll show you how to do it. The smell is so different than what you buy in the store. It's just wonderful. So what I'm going to do is going to take some out of the mold here. Now you don't have to do it by mold. I think the first one we made on our couple channel, we did not make it in a mold. We put it on parchment paper and made it into a big rectangle like a brick. But this is fresh out of the freezer, so it's resisting just a little bit. So roughly about 2 of these sticks is what we're going to use for our turkey. Oh, wow. And folks, it doesn't get any better than this. All right. Now, I have some measuring cups that are the type I absolutely despise, because the little markings on them are missing. Like, they make them, most of them with this. Back when I was a child, and my grandmother and the ladies I knew that cooked, they had the ones with the raised measurements in it. But now they make them with the lines, so when the lines wear out, you got to go buy a new one. So this is a result of one that has lost the lines. So I'm going to use this for melting our butter. Just want to melt that down and make sure we've got enough for our recipe, folks, and we'll be back. Okay, folks, it's time for the gathering. All right, so we've got our butter, we've got our onion juice, we've got our garlic juice, we got our seasonings, and we have our Chardonnay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our butter in. I've got a cup of butter here. I'll put that butter right on in there. And while the butter is slightly warm and fully liquid, I'm going to do the Tony Roma. Yeah, we'll do the Tonys. Now you can do Slap Your Mama, but my wife's been doing Slap Your Mama on a bunch of things, so I'm going to do the Tony Roma, the regular, because I'm not adding any other salt. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. Yeah, that's a little shy. All right, so 2 tablespoons of the Creole seasoning. I'm going to go ahead and add about, maybe, let's call it a teaspoon of, excuse me, of Texas Pete. I'll put a little bit of that Sneaky Pete in there. And that's simply for flavor, folks. Gives it a little bit of a something special. All right, So I'm going to move that out of the way. And now we've got the seasonings in. That's all the spicing. Now it's time for the onion juice. So we're going to put the onion juice in. We're going for a half a cup to start. Let's do half a cup to get us rolling. Want to get that volume right. We're going to do a half a cup of garlic juice. Half a cup of the garlic. And we're going to do 3/4 cup of the Chardonnay. So we're going to 3/4. All right, 3/4 of a cup. All right. So the volume is a little low. We're going to go ahead and step this up bit by bit. I want to make it full. This is how much I want for my turkey. So I'm going to keep going by portions, increasing the amount in here. So you can go with maybe 1/4 of a cup. I'm going to judge it by pouring until we step it all the way up. Now, I prefer a little more garlic than anything else because I think it really pops my meats well. All right, so we probably have the space. I'm going to go ahead with more of the onion. Again, folks, this is what makes it yours when you season to taste. Maybe just a little more wine. Okay, so folks, I think we're about where we want to be. You want to see it kind of spicy through there. You'll know what I mean in just a second. All right, I'm going to close this up and I'm going to shake it like a salt shaker. Now, folks, you see that? That's with the butter and everything kind of suspended. And you want to make sure that that's shaken up well for when it's time to draw it up in the injector. Now, the turkey is still frozen. This is Monday, and it is still pretty frozen. It's just sitting in the sink at room temperature. I'm not trying to rush it, but it'll be either Wednesday morning or Wednesday afternoon that I'm going to do the injection. I'll probably do it Wednesday morning, so that way it has a chance to get in there and do its thing with the meat. So there we are. That's our special injection recipe. Now, folks, I'll make it in multiple parts for you. I'll probably post this as soon as possible. So if you're going to be deep frying a turkey, you can try this recipe. And I'll show you the injection and the frying in part 2 and part 3. But want to get this out for Thanksgiving. But if you're thinking about doing a deep fried turkey and you're tired of the dry stuff, this is what Dad can do. See you on the second part. Have a good day.